Some of the most common candle making advice out there is just flat out wrong. It actually is what keeps chandlers stuck, frustrated, wasting time and money. So today I'm breaking down the worst candle making myths I see repeated all the time. And we're going to get into why they're harmful and what you should be doing instead. So let's bust these once and for all. Hey everybody, it's Kerry. I'm the owner and creator of Couture Home and Body. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. So is Grayson. All right, y'all, I have 5 of the most common, shared, repeated myths, advice, bad advice. You got the cutest butt, but no one wants that on camera. No one wants it on camera, son. Okay, let's just jump right in. I am going to be debunking 5. It's myths, but I like to say also bad advice. And listen, if you have a differing opinion, please comment below and let's get the conversation going. All right, let's start with myth 1. Paraffin is toxic and you should never use it. Probably one of the biggest myths in the candle making world is that paraffin is dangerous. Here's the truth, you guys. Paraffin is FDA approved across many products. It's used in food coatings, spa treatments, medical products. It's safe to burn when it's been formulated, produced, and wicked properly. And I know this is a very controversial one, and so I think it's important that when you are doing research, you're not just reading the headlines, and you're reading actual research, not someone's opinion. A lot of things that people share when they say, well, paraffin is bad, look at this, and it's just an article, it's an opinion piece, right? You want to look for published, factual data. You light a candle, literally setting it on fire. It is a flame, it is burning, and it is producing things into the air. Now, how you crafted that candle will determine whether or not it's going to be bothersome, right? If you are burning Yankee Candle or Bath & Body Works candles for years and you notice that there is black soot forming on your ceiling, well, we all know what causes that, right? But we don't know what goes into those candles. Candles that we craft, we are all so critical and particular and sure that we're using clean fragrance oils. And that's really the long and short of it. It's the whole package. Your fragrance, your wick, and of course, buying wax from a reputable manufacturer or supplier, you know how it's been produced and you know what isn't in it. Paraffin actually gives the most incredible scent throw and it burns cleanly. So don't let this myth stop you from exploring different waxes that may or may not have paraffin. Oh, y'all, this one, okay. Soy candles must cure for 2 weeks. I can't tell you how many times a day I see this. Also, it's what I understood and learned when I first started making candles as well. 2 weeks of curing is not some magic number that makes your candles stronger. The reality is that soy wax just needs time to fully harden properly so that the wicking works the way that it's supposed to. And that's usually 2 to 3 days. 3 to 5 days in hotter months, so depending upon where you live, your mileage may vary. So you want to focus on testing your candles 2 to 3 days, 5 if you're in the hotter months. But if performance is good, they're ready. So don't let this myth slow you down for weeks on end. For the big box companies that use soy wax or soy blends, do you think that they're waiting 2 weeks to test? No. I mean, you could argue, are they testing? Who's to say? Even fragrance oil companies that I know of personally don't test every single oil that comes in. They just release it. Even when it's like at the 11th hour, you know, they need to swap out a fragrance oil. Do you think that got tested? No. We're always so hard and so critical on ourselves. Give yourself some grace, you know, and think about, and I say this a lot in my videos, how does that scale, right? If you open up a store, open up your second store, etc., waiting 2 weeks in between to test candles is not tenable, right? Especially the coconut, soy, coconut, apricot. Those waxes never fully harden, right? They never fully get this firmness. And then the second you burn it, it softens up again. Like that is just coconut. It's never fully hard. It's always a touch soft. So think about that when you are doing your own testing. And you want to look to make sure that you have consistency across the wax and the wick binding and ready for testing. All right, myth 3. If your wick mushrooms, the candle is bad. It's a fail. This one makes so many chandlers, especially in the beginning, panic. They see a mushroom on their wick and they think, oh crap, this is a fail. The truth is, a little mushrooming is totally normal. It just means your wick is working a little extra hard with that wax and that fragrance combo. Oftentimes I'll see a bigger mushroom on the first burn, kind of like the warm up of the candle, and then the mushroom will be super small. So here's what you can do. Pay attention to how the candle is burning overall. If you have a steady flame, the melt pool is good, and it's safe, it's not too hot, a little mushrooming is nothing to worry about. All right, myth number 4, and this one makes me mad. The candle industry is saturated, so don't even bother. It's a tough market out there. This is the one that breaks my heart the most because I see so many people give up or just acquiesce before they even start, like, I can't do it. The candle, it's too crowded. There's no room for me. Yes, the candle industry is crowded, but it's thriving. It is booming. So are many other consumables. That means it's a good thing. People are loving candles. They're buying candles. People will never stop buying candles. And if it wasn't crowded, that would give us a different message, right? Think about it. Skincare, coffee, chocolate, cell phones, every other consumable goods industry is crowded. It's not a sign to quit. It's proof that there's demand. So here's what you should do. Focus on differentiating yourself, your branding, your storytelling, really focusing on your customer avatar, your niche to stand out. There's always room for makers who connect with their customers. So how are you doing that? All right, myth number 5. Always max out your fragrance load. Always use 10%. I'm a 10% girly. What the heck does that even mean? It means you are not testing and you are not making candles properly. When I first started making candles, I believed that too, like more fragrance equals stronger candles. Overloading your wax will clog your wicks. It will cause safety issues. That mushrooming I was talking about earlier will be massive. But the most important thing is it will cause you to have a weak hot throw. So here is what I recommend. Always, always, always start with the manufacturer's recommended range and then test at different percentages. So sometimes, most times, you can use anywhere from 6 to 7 to 8% and get an incredible hot throw. A lot of folks that complain or have issues with their hot throw are using 10%, and it simply is burning the fuel before it can even produce a decent hot throw. And that is why you're not smelling anything. More does not equal better. I said this in my previous video, a lot of the oils that are manufactured these days do not perform well at 10%. You don't need it. You know, when candles were first being manufactured on a large scale, they were using 3 to 5% fragrance oil load. How far we have come, right? It's so fascinating. So when you get a new oil, you want to put it into your lineup because you love it. You've done your test, like I love this. Start with your base recipe, pour a bunch of different jars, add fragrance oil from 6, 7, and 8%. For example, citrus fragrance oils, heavy citrus fragrance oils, they are going to need to be wicked down because the citrus oils are very volatile, highly volatile. They're going to burn off faster. So you want to make sure you have a cooler burning wick so that you're not obliterating your hot throw. And you definitely don't need 10%. If you have a citrus candle, heavy citrus candle, and you're even at 9% or 10% and it smells kind of acrid or like burnt tar sometimes, it's because the load simply is too much. That's why it's so fun to test, right? So with fragrance oil load, it's all about the balance, right? It's not about maxing it out. And if your manufacturer says the wax can hold up to 12%, doesn't mean you need to even use remotely close to that, probably half that. So it's always a good starting point and then adjust from there. Your vessel will vary from everyone else's. Just how you make candles is going to vary. Your wick series, everything is always a different variable compared to other folks. It's great to get input and see what is working for other folks, sure, but you still have to test and see. But if someone is saying to start anywhere at 10%, that is not good advice. All right, so those are the 5 probably worst pieces of candle making advice that I see floating around, these myths. If you're a new chandler, don't let these myths hold you back. Focus on testing, learning, building your business with confidence, testing, copious notes, learning. There's always something new to learn no matter how long you've been making candles. I'd love to know, what is the worst piece of advice that you've heard since you started making candles? Drop it in the comments below so we can bust even more myths together. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and check out my other videos for more tips on candle making, growing your candle business, and just all the fun stuff in between. So until the next one, you guys, I'll see you then. Bye.